Tucker Carlson is the most popular.
Let's go. Greatest broadcast of all time, folks. Tucker Carlson got fucking yelled at by a brave patriot in a shop where brave patriots go to. A Bass Pro Hunter fish murder shop that they were at. Okay. And, you know, apparently rich white people love doing fly fishing or some shit. I don't know. And that's what the shop was for. And Tucker Carlson got yelled at. Let's take a look. I got to go pee, though.
Popular Fox News host. But one guy who is not a fan went viral after he confronted Carlson at a Montana fishing store. Take a look.
You are the worst human being known to mankind. I want you to know what you have done to this state, to the United States, to everything else in this world. I don't care that your daughter's here. What you have done to people's families, what you have done to everybody else in this society. Son, don't call me son.
Now, the man posted that video with a message claiming that Carlson's killed people with vaccine misinformation, supported extreme racism, and does more to rip the country apart than anyone else that calls themselves an American. But the question is, should he have approached Carlson like that, Joy?
Well, I'm against public confrontations like that, especially when you're in a hostile state of mind. If you have something to say to me, tweet it. But, you know, don't come up to me with your hostility I don't like that. But I think that Tucker probably thought that he was in a safe space. I mean, he's in some kind of fly fishing store in Montana. I mean, he figured everybody is there on his side. But when you're spewing lies that cost people their lives, actually no place is safe for him and people like him. As for the vaccine, now you know that Tucker got the vaccine. I don't think that Rupert Murdoch would allow people in that Fox building without all being vaccinated. And yet he goes around vilifying the vaccine and saying lies about the vaccine's effectiveness, which is very, very dangerous. He's like the guy who's on a lifeboat wearing a vest, or like on the Titanic, he's wearing a vest and telling other people don't wear the vest. This is what he thinks of his viewers. He's more interested in ratings and getting attention than he is in his viewers' lives. And there are people like this guy in Montana who will not have it. But and the fact that he was very, very nice about it, you'll notice, he did not become a threat. He just basically quietly said, you know, you are the worst human being for doing what you are doing. So you can't really fault him on that end.
Right. Well, Sonny, you've called Tucker out for pushing vaccine misinformation. What did you think of him getting confronted in public like that?
So, I have a question. Like, do these people hate free speech or something? Because, like, that guy wasn't doing anything crazy. He was just basically saying, like, you're a piece of shit. You're a horrible monster of a human being. And he's right. I mean, that's just him exercising his free speech in public. You know what I mean? He was just like, is it too late to get the vaccine? No, of course it's not too late to get the vaccine. Please get the vaccine.
You know, I agree with Joy. I think when you are, you know, with your family and you're on vacation, you should be safe. You should be safe from being accosted or being confronted. And so in that sense, I agree that something like that shouldn't happen. But when you think about Tucker Carlson, he himself has you know, said things like in April of this past year, this year, Tucker Carlson told his audience to harass people who wear face masks outside. He also said that members of the public should report parents to police and child services if they see children wearing masks as they play.
True.
He said
he literally said that.
Called mask wearing repulsive and said that parents forcing their children to wear masks in public should be reported for child abuse. And he also told his viewers that it was their duty to report. And then just last week, even though we've been seeing some Fox News personalities now saying, listen, you should get the vaccine, it saves lives, Tucker Carlson, on the other hand, contradicted his colleagues and told viewers to ignore medical advice on television and he averages 3 million viewers a night, and so this is the type of thing that he's been up to, all of this misinformation, and I'm just not surprised that he was confronted in the way by someone that obviously viewed his show, because he's encouraged that kind of behavior.
Right. Megan, is this the kind of confrontation that is ever justified?
Good content.
You know, I know you've experienced this too, Whoopi, because you experienced something similar when we were working together on this show, and I won't say what.
That's a big part of the reason, by the way. That's why they're having this take, is they don't want, like, they themselves are famous people, and they don't want fucking random members of the public, you poors, to come up and you know, yell at them. And in some way, I understand it, okay? I get confronted, at least in Twitch chat regularly. And I would probably get, I mean, I sometimes get confronted in public, not to the same degree, right?
The test results are in.
Ultimately,
Oh shit,
it's entirely dependent on who the person is and what the confrontation is. People roll up to me all the time when I'm fucking IRL streaming, like literally all the goddamn time. The reality is that Tucker Carlson is a horrific monster, and this dude was very nice in the way that he approached him. If you think that like that altercation was devastating, then imagine how fucking awful it is to have 3 million people listen to the garbage that comes out of your fucking mouth every day. You know? Wild.
What happened, but you know, it went, you know, you had an incident where people were coming up to you and we were all scared. I think the problem with any kind of rationale of this being okay is there's this Winston Churchill quote that says, just because the crocodile's eating them doesn't mean it's not going to eat you next. As incendiary as many people find Tucker.
I love that. It's like, oh, it'll happen to you too. Yeah, by fucking hogs. Advocating against, you know, I guess telling people to get vaccinated. Which is, yeah, entirely different, dude. There is a difference between, like, approaching Tucker Carlson in this, like, incredibly calm manner in the same fucking circle that you're in the same, like, public area that you're in, and being like, dude, you're a piece of shit. Versus, what do you call it? Versus some hog coming up to you and being like, God damn, you fucking piece of shit, you hate America, commie. You know what I mean? Yeah, they'll come for you too. Yeah, exactly. They will. What will they come for you for? It doesn't matter. They'll come for you. It's the action. People always judge everything with the action rather than who's becoming victim to this action. Is it a reaction, and why?
Carlson, they find the women on this show equally incendiary for different reasons. So if it's okay and should be expected, maybe there's an expectation that wherever we go, it's okay for people to come up to us and scream things and say things. And maybe you guys thought that man was being polite. I thought he was being a total jackass and incredibly rude. And we're living in a time when people like Steve Scalise are being shot and wounded to the point that you don't know if they're.
What, he fucking shot at him with his words? Like, if you're making a comparison to, like, some psycho fucking shooting the congressional baseball game and shooting Steven Scalise in the ass with an AR-15, to Tucker Carlson being confronted by a dude who's already there, you know, shopping, and quietly being like, you're an asshole, like whispering that he's a fucking asshole. That's crazy. Like, you've already devalued, you already devalued the argument that you were putting together, which is, you know, it's not the same. One is significantly more impactful than the other. One is like actually being shot.
He's literally going to survive, and now he has to walk with a cane because there are people that just aren't in control of themselves and aren't in control of their mental health, and they want to take out their aggression on public figures. It's incredibly dangerous. I thought it was incredibly dangerous when Maxine Waters said we should go up to public figures and get up in their faces. I think it is a very, very slippery slope. I know how much people don't like Tucker Carlson. People equally don't like Meghan McCain and Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin and Whoopi and Sarah. These are, when you're putting your opinion out there, you're making yourself a target. I now feel in my life, Ben and I have to talk about what restaurants we feel safe going to. I think about what kind of places I'm comfortable taking liberty to. I have to think about what kind of neighborhood I'm living in. Tucker Carlson's wife once barricaded herself in her home in their pantry and called the police because so many protesters were outside their home here in Washington, D.C. to try and accost them. This isn't normal. And I think any rationalization that this is normal or should be accepted in the United States of America is not only indecent, but it's beyond the pale.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I get doxxed. I get death threats. I have people fucking harass me all the goddamn time. Okay? Nonstop. This notion that, like, oh man, I can't go to a restaurant. Like, okay, dude. Like, maybe reconsider, like, what you're saying. Maybe reconsider the words that you put out there. Maybe reconsider, like, why people are so frustrated. And then also you will perhaps recognize that, like, you're talking about this exclusively from your ivory tower. Same with me too, for the record. Like, I don't want people fucking rolling up to me. I don't want people coming up to me randomly and being like, fuck you, dude. I mean, it sucks. Okay? Not great. It does make you feel unsafe. It's just, but ultimately you're just a public figure defending other public figures because you yourself are, like, worried that someone's going to tell you you're a fucking asshole. Just don't be an asshole. Also, don't, you know, maybe don't, one, be an asshole, and two, brainwash millions of people every fucking night into thinking that the vaccine is somehow bad.
Of what should be any expectation of any kind of decorum in a society like the United States of America, and anyone that tries to rationalize it is gross, and that man should apologize to Tucker Carlson.
And Sarah, what did you think about the exchange?
I don't agree with public.
Yeah, notice how the conversation isn't like that man should go to jail. You want to know why? Because that would be a laughable thing to do. If you're in a public place and someone comes up to you and you're like, as a public person, and someone comes up to you and is like, I don't like what you're saying, like you're a horrible monster, then like, and the only consequence that you can demand out of that person is an apology, then it's not a news story. You know what I mean? You can't really feign outrage if the only way to fix the situation is a public apology for Tucker Carlson.
Like confrontation at all, because I think what we fight so hard for here in this country is that freedom to coexist peacefully. I'm not a fan of Tucker. He says some pretty egregious things.
I think Tucker Carlson should stop being a fucking douchebag. A bloodthirsty psychopath. How about that? That's what I think. And before that happens, I'm not going to care. I'm just not going to fucking care that people are, you know, people make him feel like he's a piece of shit. What the fuck is that take? What do you mean, what the fuck is that take? Go ahead, let's hear it.
But you have to think of these situations if the table were were to turn. And as we talk about the guns, the ownership of guns and people arming themselves, and these kind of confrontations don't end well. And although the man's words were calm, he was up in his face a little bit. So as I watched it, I felt uncomfortable. I don't believe in confronting people in public, whether they be alone or with their family. That's what we fight for here in this country. And if I had a minute with Tucker and I could ask him a thing, I wouldn't come at him cursing. I'd want to ask, like, did you get the vaccine? Do you believe what you're saying? Like, take that moment to get something from him.
It's actually a good take. Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about what the guy did, but it would have been even better if he was like, you got the vaccine. Why are you fucking lying to the American public? Why are you lying to your audience, you weaselly little liar?
But otherwise, stay at home, tweet from there, because we just live in a divided time where we can't even sit with our families at holidays sometimes out of disagreement, let alone entrusting a stranger, not using the best words for that to end well. It's not going to change hearts and minds. It's not the way to do it.
Yeah, you know, I'm used to being spoken to in odd ways by different people, and I just try to be as calm as I can.
This is a shit take. You just picked out one thing you liked. Yeah, I know. I already said it's a shit take, but I also said that like it would have been better if he asked for like some other thing. Like if he confronted him by being like, you got a fucking vaccine, you piece of shit. Fuck getting info or opinions from Tucker. He's a fucking shit stain. I think getting in his face is the way to do it. Trying to coddle them out of their bullshit is how we got here.
It doesn't help, though, when you go out and you encourage other people to do it to people you disagree with. So it's kind of a slippery slope. So maybe if we all...
I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of a fucking debate lord. Obviously, like, you know, don't physically threaten someone. That's, like, unacceptable and also illegal, right? But I don't have this approach where it's like, I'm a fucking demigod. And if you... a common folk
Debate Lord and
come to me in public, a member of the peasant class come to me in public, and address something, or just a concern or whatever, while I'm out shopping. Well, then how dare you do that, you poor peasant? That's not my take. I do, however, get fucking annoyed when there are a million
Boss
people
gets $1, I get a dime. That's why I listen to the Hasanabi broadcast
that
on company time. Thanks for the
a million
stream,
people that
Marjan
like
Hass.
are approaching me. It's not great. And I totally understand why you can feel unsafe. Okay? I've been in that situation as well. Having said that, however, you kind of ignore me when I said hello to you in real life. Felt like you were a little stuck up in real life. Suck my dick, bitch. Okay? How about that? Motherfucker, I don't owe you, you know, any time in real life either. If that's actually a real thing, if that actually happened, like, what if I was doing some shit? What if I was going through some shit? You know what I mean? I don't owe you anything. Okay? You tried and you failed. The overwhelming majority of people that come up to me have a pleasant experience. Like, I don't know you. What if I was in a fucking shitty mood? Stuck up confirmed? Yeah, dude, you guys know how fucking stuck up I am.
Genetic TTS comment for attention.
The people accosting you are the people who are turned rabbit, but
yeah,
people like Tucker, there's a difference. Tucker should feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, that's my point. The point is that, like, the point is that Tucker Carlson is not a regular person. He's a horrible monster. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry that you went to go get fucking fly fishing shit, and someone, like, briefly told you that was a week-old alt account lying, by the way. Yeah, probably. Mons, you can ban that person. who I was mean to in public, I guess. Yeah. How do you like that now, bitch? It's incredibly unlikely that I was mean to someone who said hi to me. Anyway. Like, it's annoying because it's like, yeah, famous people are allowed to have bad days. Famous people are allowed privacy. Okay? 100%. Especially because, like, remember, it's not, you're not alone. Like, if I'm out, you're not the first person that is approaching me. You know what I mean? So it's situational.
What if we COVID kissed under the baguette? Peepo kiss.
But having said that, the overwhelming majority of instances that I have are pleasant. Like most, if not all, of the instances where well, you choose to be a public figure, so people might not realize that celebrities don't act as such. Well, what I was trying to say is, like, I'm not gonna always be on. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna performatively try to fucking. I'm not going to performatively try to, like, you know, act to your expectations of what that that conversation is gonna look like. But the most important difference here is that, like, I'm not killing people with my misinformation. You're not famous. You're an internet personality. Come on now. I'm not a very famous person. I'm not as famous as Tucker Carlson. I agree. That's not like a big own, by the way. I don't think that's like a big diss. I don't know why, like, fucking anonymous chatters in the chat are like, bro, you're like C tier famous, dude. You're like internet famous. Yeah, I know. I'm a reputable person for people under the age of 30. And that's not an own. Like, when you're saying that to me, you know what I mean? Well, you're not famous, so why do people bother you? I don't know. I guess people just think I'm someone else then. I guess people think I'm actually a famous person when they approach me in public to get photos. And they probably get really sad afterwards. They're like, oh man, I thought this was an actually famous person.
11 months
not the Twitch streamer Hasanabi.
There's way more color and patterns in my wardrobe.
You know what I mean? Anyway, the point is, I'm talking about it from my own personal experiences. Like, I'm not out here advocating to fucking hurt people. People know you, who you are. You're part of the 400K viewers AOC stream. Yeah. The conversation isn't about me being famous or not, okay?
Saw Space Jam today, and when Bugs turned into Big Chungus, a kid lost his mind and started screaming, and his mum had to take him outside.
The conversation should be about, like, what your actions and words are and what those consequences are. And if Tucker Carlson is advocating to, like, confront people wearing masks to 3 million people every fucking night, okay? And then also advocating against vaccinations, which are harming people. And then a person lightly fucking says, you're the worst, the most despicable kind of person in public. Like, yeah, that's, you know, that's light. That's real light. Okay? And the reality is, like, Tucker Carlson would be fine with that kind of confrontation if it was done by another person who is also reputable, okay? Another media personality. He could get a lot of content out of it. I guess he could still get content out of this too. Anyway.
stop encouraging people to go out and yell at folks in public, maybe we can sort of dial it back a bit. I think that might be better for all of us. But what am I? Just a talking head, y'all. Just a talking head.